Hello, my wonderful people. Good morning to you all, and welcome to this early Tuesday morning broadcast. My name never changed. I still remain. Amanda Noise speaking from the platform of Okute Daily Talk, bringing to you this early morning broadcast. Make on hear these headlines that we have for you today before we can be able to expatiate on what is trending around the globe. Do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. All the very, very important and very, very necessary. Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, according to our lawyer Ejimako, he said, and I quote, "Fulfill your promise you made during campaign," Ejimako tells President BOLA TINUBU in bracket, Abado. Gunmen kills the Imo monarch in his palace. This one is happening right from Imo State, the state of Hope Uzodinjo, and I still remember him. He is a terrorist governor. Abia State government don't cut down or cut off over 2,300 ghost workers to save over 200 million naira on monthly wages. Ghost workers fool our secretariats, every offices, as long as Nigerian government is concerned. You find out that most of our past governors, president, and the rest of them put names of people that have never appeared in office for one day. Even most of themselves have not been burned, and they keep on collecting their salary on their behalf. And that is what is called ghost workers. So Abia is really doing a very great work. If other people can wake up and do this as well, our states and country will be a better place to live. Prophet and boyfriend, though, they don't sentence them to death by hanging for killing a final year LASSO student. This one is never a good one. Though. May them or their soul rest in peace or in perfect peace. I don't know. But let me know what you think at the comment section. There's no shortcut. Labour Party knocks TINUBU over anarchy threats. And there is one headline I saw this morning also where Charlie Boy is telling the so-called president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that you cannot threaten them with anarchy, whereby you are the one that tell them to go to court. And I've seen a group also calling for P2B and Atiku to withdraw the case. And I asked, what kind of society are we trying to raise in this current day Nigeria? You ask people to go to court. First of all, people were on the streets demanding for end of SARS. That is the youths. You went and murdered them in broad daylight. When they complained, you tell them to let them go to the pool and choose whoever they want to lead them that will end SARS. They queued on the line and voted. You stole their mandate and force them that they them go to court if they feel aggrieved on the election result. They went to court. You turn back again and start to threaten people with anarchy. Some people are even calling for them that they should withdraw their case from court. And I ask, what is this court meant for? Is it for child's play? Is it a place you go and okay, let's call it a tantalizer joint now, where you can take your girlfriend, your wife, or concubine, or fiancé to go and eat, and after eating finish, you pay them money and go. These people calling for P2B or Atiku to withdraw, okay, they don't know how much to hire a single son that will attend all these cases, and you want them to waste their money just like that. If they lose the case, fine and good, they lose the case, but not calling them to go and withdraw case. And on the other hand, the ruling party is threatening the country with anarchy, chaos, and confusion, or thereabout. Ndara. APCs who have appointed acting chairman from the southeast, Reno Omokiri. This one, sometimes your headline, they always sound like a person where don't smoke Igbo. Why Senator Buka Chawa can be arrested, prosecuted, National Assembly? Somebody who come out the National Assembly and make open confession. Let it be that this man now is from Imo State. Sorry, from the southern eastern part of the country. By now, he would have been resting at DSS camp. Emefiele, DSS boss dragged to court over alleged contempt of the court. In other hand, we have how accessing free Wi-Fi exposes users, bank details to other information, and other information to hackers. Expert reviews. So, my dear people who always go out there, please, can I have your Wi-Fi? Please, can I have your Wi-Fi, my dear? Let us be guided, because let us go common Wi-Fi. Common 2,000 naira the charge card you will buy now. You will go and spend your bank details and other information that is in your phone to hackers. All the very, very very, very open and very, very, what I call it, very, very easy for them to get access of everything you do, because using the Wi-Fi have exposed your password and other things in your phone. There is so much to be done to widows. This one is coming from that our Cook Canton, where they hold the Guinness World Record. Hida Bachi, he sent strong message to the Nigerians. So my good people of Biafra, the lovers of freedom and the lovers of Biafran freedom and the lovers of Biafran welfare, we're about to do what? We're about to start our news this very morning. I beg, tighten your seatbelt, because today it's going to be fire for fire. I beg, the news I gave you yesterday, if offend you in any way, or you feel not happy with it, I'm gonna forgive me, as on your major, forgive me if I don't know why, because if I open my mouth, now I go just talk like today when no get break. I beg, back on a tighten your seatbelt, because we're about to take off. And I know today I will offend some people, but if I offend you, one day, find a place in your heart to forgive me. And I had the castle. As you remember, I had a gagon John, but someone also got a gun, that means on one. So, Madonna, no, I got a gagon John. We keep on singing on daily basis. Allow Ejimako, the special counsel to leader of the General People of Biafra, Ipobo, Nnamdi Kanu, has asked President BOLA TINUBU, in bracket Agbado, to fulfill his promise to negotiate with the agitators. Nigerians recall that during the presidential election campaign, I beg you did capitalize on the election campaign promise. My brother Biko Patawa, if not this one, Buhari promised us 1 million promises. He can't even fulfill common one. He couldn't even fulfill. And I was asking, I beg you, who do us? Tinubu had promised to negotiate with all agitators in the southeast amid the Biafra agitator led by Nnamdi Kanu, the Hamadike one of Igbo land. He insisted that negotiation was best for people to get their demands and compliance rather than resorting to violence. Speaking on the campaign promise, Ejimako opined that it is unnatural to negotiate with a man in chains and called for Kanu's immediate and unconditional release from DSS dungeon. He said that these were the steps also taken in other countries like South Africa, India, and the United States of America when dealing with their agitators. To which Ejimako wrote, Mr. President, it is time to fulfill your promise to negotiate with the agitators. But it is unnatural to negotiate with a man in chains. The first step is to free the man. That is how they negotiated with Mandela, Gandhi, and Martin Luther King. Mr. President, again, hashtag free Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Thank you. This one is coming from the special counsel to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, where his name be Aloy or Aloysius Ejimako. Government in Imo State don't kill Imo monarch right in his palace. I beg, who send you? I'm very, very sure that the hand of Hope Uzodinjo is in this, because anything that got to do with the killings, my that man, it be like saying they drink blood to save the sleep. The traditional ruler of Nguru community in Imo State, Abombise local government area, Eze James Nnamdi, was fatally shot on Monday afternoon. In his palace. This Nigeria self, I don't know. The incident occurred at his palace, shaking the community to its core. The tragedy unfolded as the late king was entertaining a guest identified as Chief Ignatius Nwaru. Suddenly, a group of unidentified gunmen stormed his residence and unleashed violence. Following the incident, fear has gripped the local area. A source that spoke with Punch said the traditional ruler of Nguru in Abombise local government area was around 3 p.m. shot dead. The traditional ruler is popularly known as Eze Milioma, was killed in his palace. This is so terrifying. So the bandits just stormed there and killed the man and left his guest. I beg, all hands to point on that guest too. My brother, I tell you the simple truth. All hands to point on that guest. They don't even know how much you don't get the guest or aka. They just buy the traditional ruler and leave the guest. And that guest have a question to answer. A further report has it that the king's guest was rushed to an undisclosed hospital where he was being attended to. Confirming the killing of the traditional ruler, the spokesperson for the police in the state, Henry Okoye, said that the state commissioner of police, Muhammad Bade, had ordered an investigation into the murder incident. Okoye said the Commissioner of Police, Imo State, CP Mohammed Bade, has condemned in totality the gruesome murder of Eze Mirioma, a traditional ruler in Abombise, who died while receiving treatment in the hospital after being shot severally in his house today by unknown gunmen. He, Commissioner of Police Bade, has set up a high-powered investigation team to investigate this case and ensure that the perpetrators of this dastardly act are arrested and made to face the full wrath of the law. Abia State government, where in MB, Abia State governor, where in MB, Choma Ales Oti, he don't cut off over 2,300 ghost workers, and in that in the process, he will save over 200 million naira on monthly wages. This one is enough now to tackle the menace on salary, to pay salary and pensioners in that very state. And I encourage other states, stakeholders, governors, whatever you are working in the local government, state level, or the federal level, to do the same. If you people can tell yourself the truth. Governor Les Choma Oti, led government of Abia State, has saved the state of over 200 million on the monthly wage bill by cutting off some alleged ghost workers from the civil service. The development was confirmed in a press released on Monday by the chief press secretary to Governor Oti, Kazie Uko, Nigeria News reports. According to Uko, the huge funds were recovered following an ongoing verification of civil servants and other public workers that eliminated the ghost workers from the state's payroll. The statement quoted the State Accountant General Njum Onyemenam to have revealed that the saving was made using a unified payment system. She confirmed that workers had received the payment of April salaries as well as June pensions to retirees. Nigerians understand that Onyemenam disclosed this on Monday after a meeting with the Governor Oti. She explained that the verification exercise was still ongoing and that the government hoped to make more savings from the ghost workers. So far, we have been able to save 220 million naira from the ongoing verification of workers in the state, local government, and pensioners as well. Not less than 2,300 ghost names have been weeded out of the payrolls using the unified payment system, and we hope to identify more still as we continue with the exercise, the Accountant General said. She confirmed that following Governor Oti's directive, the government had last week paid the arrears of April salaries left behind by the immediate past administration and also June pensions to retirees. The Accountant General also noted that local government staff who have been skipped when the June salaries were paid due to their failure to submit their verified payment schedule will receive their salaries this week. Prophet to boyfriend they will buy them by hanging for killing a final year LASU student, Lagos State University. A prophet at Cherubim and Seraphim Church, Solution Chapel, Ikoyi, Ile, Philip Segun, and one Owolabi Ade-Eko have been sentenced to death by hanging by an Osun State High Court. Nigerians understand that Justice Christian Obadena of the Osun State High Court in Ikere sentenced the two to death by hanging for killing a Lagos State University final year student, Favor Dale Oladele, in 2019. Justice Obadena convicted Owolabi's mother, Bola, for her involvement in that very particular issue. This platform gathered that Favor Dale Oladele, a final year sociology student at the LASU, Lagos State University, was gruesomely murdered by Owolabi, who was her boyfriend and his prophet, with the involvement of his mother. It was learned that Owolabi had lured Favor from Lagos to Ikere to visit his uncle, while he, his mother, and Prophet Segun had planned to use her for a money ritual. Oh, God have mercy. Favor was then murdered on getting to Ikere at the church premises, where Owolabi struck her head with a pistol. Ew. Subsequently, her organs were used for the money ritual and her remains were buried in a shallow grave outside the church on December 8 of 2019. Following their arrest, the suspects confessed to the crime, leading to the exhumption of the Favor's body by the police a few weeks later. The defendants were first arraigned before the court on November 15 of 2021 on charges of conspiracy and murder. During the trial, the prosecution team from the Ministry of Justice, led by Ms. Adekemi Bello, presented 9 witnesses, including the police investigating officer, and submitted several exhibits. The defendants testified in their defense, but did not call any additional witnesses. During the plea, the defense counsel, Adeshina Olaniyan, pleaded for leniency from the court. However, Justice Obadina, in her judgment, held that the prosecution had proven the case beyond a reasonable doubt. She said Prophet Philip Segun and Owolabi Adeko 23 were found guilty of murder and conspiracy. At the same time, BOLA Adeko, Owolabi's mother, was convicted for consuming human flesh, which is contrary to the law. She consequently sentenced Prophet Philip Segun and Owolabi Adeko to death by hanging for murder and 14 years imprisonment for conspiracy. And while BOLA Adeko, Owolabi's mother, was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment for the consumption of human flesh. On a random murder. God have mercy, Nigeria. So we still have people planning cannibalism in Nigeria. There's no shortcut to this one. Is coming from the camp of Labour Party, knocks TINUBU over anarchy threats. The Labour Party has told President Bola TINUBU to stop threatening the judiciary, insisting that his removal from office by the court will not cause any anarchy in the country or in the land. Nigerians recall that TINUBU had warned about the potential consequences of nullifying the election that produced him as the president. He cautioned that such a decision based on his failure to secure 25% of the lawful votes in the capital territory, Abuja, could result in absurdity, chaos, anarchy, and the distortion of the legislators' original intent. The president stated this while presenting his final written address to the Presidential Election Petition Court on the petitions filed by the candidate from the Labour Party, Obi, and People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, challenging the validity of his victory. In a statement on Monday by its National Publicity Secretary, Obiora Ifo, the Labour Party warned that TINUBU and the All Progressive Congress APC must be cautious in their approach to the matter, which is still in court. The party said no amount of pressure on the judges in the tribunal could change the process and requirement that the law has put in place. The statement said, "We are worried that the statement, which formed part of his submission and was contained in his final written address against the Labour Party's petition pending at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal Court and meant to be in the exclusive custody of the court, was leaked to the media. We still do not know the reason behind this act of desperation, even when the matter is still pending in court. We will, however, be careful not to turn the action as sub judice." Having said that, Labour Party thinks that the statement was unnecessary since the matter is already before the court, and going ahead to pontificate on it could be construed as interference in the duties and the responsibilities of the judiciary. The truth of the matter is that there are no sentiments when it comes to matters of law. The law is the law, and once the law has stipulated the manner and how a matter must be carried out, it must follow that pattern. If the law has stated the requirement that a presidential candidate must meet before he can be declared, there's no shortcut to it, according to Labour Party's camp. Therefore, if the Constitution, which is the ground norm of the law in Nigeria, has stated clearly that you must score at least 25% in Federal Capital Territory before the president can be declared, anything short of that cannot remedy it. We insist that no amount of threat from the APC on the judges in the tribunal can change the processes and requirements that the law has put in place, it must be followed, and that is the position of the Labour Party. Let me assure the APC and their leaders that if there were no absurdity, chaos, and anarchy when they forced their way into power, Nigeria will still witness peace when they are eventually evicted from the same power. APC to have appointed acting chairman from the southeast, Reno Omokri. Former presidential aide has faulted the All Poverty Congress APC for failing to appoint a southeasterner as the acting national chairman of All Progressive Congress APC. Nigeria reported that Senator Abdullahi Adamu resigned as the APC national chairman and was replaced by Deputy National Secretary North, Senator Abubakar Kyari. In a Twitter post on Monday evening, Omokri said the ruling party missed a golden opportunity to reduce the tension in the southeast by not appointing the acting chairman from the region. Omokri said part of the reason there is so much unrest in the southeast because the people from the region feel unrepresented in the national power structure. He wrote, the APC missed a golden opportunity to reduce the tension in the southeast and bring that geopolitical zone into the mainstream by failing to replace their national chairman with someone from the southeast. Part of why there is so much unrest in the southeast is because they feel unrepresented in the national power structure. The president is from the southwest, his vice is from the northeast, the Senate president is from the south-south, while the Speaker of the House of Representatives is from the northwest. The Chief Justice of Nigeria is from the southwest, whereas the President of the Court of Appeal is from the north central. Where does that leave the southeast? Completely naked politically at the federal level, the imbalance is suffocating. No zone will accept what the southeast is expected to accept, and the APC ought to have used this vacancy to placate the southeast and prove to them that Buhari's dot in the circle philosophy went away with him. What a missed opportunity, according to Reno Omokri. Why Bukachewa can be arrested, prosecuted, National Assembly laments. The clerk of the National Assembly, Magaji Tambua, has stated that Senator Adamu Bukachewa cannot be arrested or interrogated by the security or anti-graft agencies over comments he made during a plenary of the 9th National Assembly concerning his wife. On June 10, during the 9th Senate's valedictory season, Bukachewa claimed his wife, Zeneb Bukachewa, used her influence as a judge to aid his colleagues. I look at faces in this chamber whom have come to me and sought for my help when my wife was the president of the Court of Appeal. And I must thank particularly my wife, whose freedom and independence I encroached upon while she was in office, and she has been very tolerant and accepted my encroachment and extended her help to my colleagues, he has said. As the former president of the Court of Appeal and the first woman to hold this position, Zeneb's involvement drew significant attentions. This led to a public outcry for an investigation into the former senator's claim. However, Zeneb has since denied these allegations, asserting that she never allowed partisan interests to compromise her judicial duties. Saying prosecution by security agencies, Senator Bukachewa, through his lawyer, Donald Ayebio, approached Justice Inyang Ekwo for declaratory release. The Attorney General of the Federation, Clerk of the National Assembly, State Security Service, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, and Nigerian Police Force were listed as first to fifth defendants. The plaintiff asked the court to declare that he is covered, privileged, and protected by the plenary immunity as enshrined in Section 1 of the Legislative House, Powers and Privileges Act of 2017, and the freedom of speech and expression made thereto is privileged. Court is the problem of Nigeria. Anything they do, they will run to court and seek for guidance, and court will cover them. That is the problem we are having. Once they are being paid a peanut, they will guide them in all ramifications. He also asked the court to declare that without exhausting the internal disciplinary mechanism, recommendations and approval of the Ninth House of Senate, no other law enforcement agent of the federal government, including the defendants, can invite any member of the Senate for questioning and interview and for any disciplinary purposes in relation to the plaintiff's privilege in child expression and speeches made on the floor of the Nigerian House of Senate at the valedictory season. And at the hearing, in his counter affidavit and written address obtained by the Whistler, the Deputy Director, Legal Service, National Assembly, Charles Yoela, said the National Assembly clerk emphasized the need to further protect the immunity and privileges granted legislators as regards words spoken or written at the plenary. He said the immunity and privileges enjoyed by the legislators in Nigeria are standard word practices applicable to legislators, judges, and similar office holders in democracies across the world. Any attempt to disregard these provisions of the law is an aberration, and the court is properly called upon to intervene, Charles further stated. He ordered the court to remove the National Assembly from the matter because the plaintiff has no case against him. At the proceedings on Monday, counsel agreed that they had not fully served and received court processes from the parties. Subsequently, Justice Yang Eko adjourned the case to July 27 for full hearing. Godwin Emefiele, DSS both dragged to court over alleged contempt of the Director General of the Department of State Service, DSS, Yusuf Bichi, has been sued by some constitutional and human rights lawyers over alleged contempt of court. According to the lawyer, the criminal charge against the DSS board was as a result of violation of multiple judgments and orders of the court directing the release of the suspended Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele from the custody of the DSS agency. Led by Maxwell Opara and Ahmed Tijani, the lawyers are praying that the court commits Bichi to prison until he purges himself of the contempt. In their motion filed before the court for the issuing of Form 48 and Form 49, the lawyer said by the judgment and orders of Justice M.A. Hassan, Justice Hamza Muazu, and Justice Bello Kawu, the DSS DG ought to have released Emefiele from detention. In the affidavit in support of the application, the consortium deposed to the fact that Justice M.A. Hassan restrained the respondent in that suit, particularly the DSS, from arresting, detaining, or interrogating Emefiele for offenses connected to terrorism, financing, money laundering, round-tripping, financial crimes of national security dimension, among others. It is their disposition that despite the clear and positive orders of Justice Hassan, the DSS still went ahead to arrest and detain Emefiele and has so detained him for well over a month while shopping for evidence which does not exist. While addressing journalists after filling their processes at the registry of the court, Opara said the group would pursue the matter to its logical conclusion. They also promised to ensure that Bichi is sent to prison to serve as a deterrent to other heads of security agencies and top government officials that contempt of court and gross abuse of their offices for personal vendetta will no longer be tolerated in the country. Opara also called on President BOLA TINUBU to immediately relieve Bichi of his appointment as the DSS DG for having allegedly misled the president that Emefiele had committed heinous crimes against the state, only for him now to file a charge of possession of a validly registered pump action rifle against the suspended CBN governor. The lawyer added that since there was no valid court order and the DSS had been unable to find any evidence against Emefiele, he was entitled to his release. He concluded that the continued detention by the DSS was unlawful and violated all his rights, hence the reason why the consortium would ensure Bichi ends up being committed to prison, according to Opara. How accessing free Wi-Fi exposes users' bank details, other information to hackers, expert reveals. An information security expert, David Dada, has warned that internet users who connect to free Wi-Fi to stop the act or risk losing vital information to hackers. According to him, the gadget users who connected to the internet through free Wi-Fi service unknowingly expose their password and other vital information like bank details to hackers. Data as gathered by Nigeria News explained that basics of securing online transactions are to avoid logging into free Wi-Fi in public places as it threatens every user's privacy. The information security expert who was a guest on Channel Television Sunrise Daily on Monday further noted that he could set up what he described as the Evo to Win network and make it accessible, adding that users who would quickly be drawn to it are giving up something in exchange unknowingly. He explained that when you are using an unsecured Wi-Fi, a lot of your transactions have been spoofed by someone else, and somebody else is watching what you are doing on your phone. You go to the supermarket, you go to the airport, you go to the public places, you see unsecured Wi-Fi, and you decided to log in. The moment you log on to that, it is very dangerous. When you see free Wi-Fi, you are actually